d'Azur et Saint-Tropez, Tour de France, Tour de France. Les Alpes et les Pyrénées, Tour de France, Tour de France. Dernière étape, Champs-Élysées, Tour de France, Tour de France.
Madonna sued by fan, claiming her concert was too sexual. Just reading my new issue of Exclaim. It's Brian in Toronto. Welcome to the video. I am going to try and encapsulate what has turned into be a 2-day meetup into one video that hopefully isn't too long. So the rumors are in fact true. The Shirtmaster General, I'm talking about Ben Rankins, sometimes known as the King of Fashion or the King of Shirts, is in Toronto all the way from Melbourne by way of British Columbia, where he met up with the Vinyl Martini and also some friends he has there. So, I'm going to try and do this as logically as possible. But as you can see, I cycled down to meet Ben. So, and the French Vinyl Addict. So let me go step back a little bit. I tried to get a collection of VC hosts together to have a meetup in Toronto while Ben is here. And the original invitation list was 6, possibly 7. No, I think it was 6 people. And, as it happens, there are some, things that crop up. And so not everyone was able to make it. But we had in attendance the French Vinyl Addict, someone I had met before. A few weeks ago, we met in Toronto and we had coffee together and hung out. That was very cool. I did a live stream with the French Vinyl Addict and Ben Rankins and David Atkinson. So if you haven't seen that, maybe you should check it out. It was an interesting thing to try and coordinate because of the time zones all the way from Australia to the UK. So French Vinyl Addict's a great guy. I'm happy to see him again. He's very cool, and I'm hoping I'll get opportunities in the future when he's in town. So we decided to meet at Sonic Boom, which is clearly the largest record store in the city. I've mentioned this place before. It's kind of like the place you would start a meetup. It seems like the logical place. A big selection of new and used vinyl, 7 inches. They have turntables and turntable equipment like belts and cartridges. They have a good selection of rarities. They sell CDs, DVDs. They have some kitschy things, a few books related to music. There was even a photo booth there that was a lineup of people trying to get in. So it's an interesting store and well worth visiting. So I had a message from Ben saying he was in the store, so I went down to the lower level, and there he was, Ben and his wife. I was happy to meet his wife, and I have to say, it is a very, the only word I can think of is a surreal experience. And I've had this experience before, when even meeting the French Vinyl Addict. I hadn't known him as long. Rob from Northern Revolutions, Chris from Silas Meets Vinyl, Jason's Skills. It is weird meeting people in person that you've only seen on screen. It's hard to describe, and it was especially weird because Ben is so far away. And when I started watching his channel, when I started making videos myself, I assumed that I might meet someone who does similar things but locally. So to meet someone who's so far away was really surreal. So standing there, seeing someone face to face that you've only seen on computer is a very weird thing. And I will experience this again in the Boston area in the summer when I'm heading down to the MGK keg party bash thing. So, but yeah, I'm standing there talking to Ben, and it is weird. It took a while to we had a conversation, but it was really odd. It's really odd. There is that saying, something like never meet your heroes. And I think the basis of that is that you might be disappointed, or they might disappoint you, or maybe they could just overwhelm you. You could be overcome with emotion. So this is to say to Ben, I hope you survive that. I hope you'll be able to go on. I know it can be a problem. So I hope you don't have too much emotional injuries from that. So let's move on. I'm going to put in some video and photos from the last 2 days so you can get a sense of what has happened, or what happened. And I'm also going to show you the few things I picked up during the last couple of days.
Your meeting, Jack, is at 1:30.
Are you recording?
Yes.
Now I don't know how to look when I'm recording.
No, just tell me what you got there.
I'm taking this away from Canada back to Australia.
It's fair enough.
people don't appreciate this here. It's a repatriation program. Nice full 7-inch. I know everyone from here will be like, can't believe you're paying that much money for this shit. I'm taking it. It's quality, not quantity.
True.
This stuff on the later albums. I think this is a folky prog album. I once found a version on YouTube, and it's very priced, like $10. So I'm taking it back home.
That's a hell of a cover.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And here's another Australian band that you may not have heard of.
Never heard of. What is that?
This is
Dicks.
That's them.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah.
Actic.
Actic. Yeah. Okay.
Someone calls them Akadak or Akadak. What is it?
Yeah, that's what apparently.
Yeah. Is that progressive folk music or?
It is.
Oh yeah.
You know your shit.
I know.
I don't know how long I can carry this bullshit on.
It's a school band now. It's a college.
So, at Sonic Boom, the first thing I grabbed was this Beck record called Modern Guilt, originally from 2008. This is the 2017 reissue. I have all the Beck CDs, except for the last two, which I only have on vinyl. And I always have appreciated his music, some more than others. Even though I have them on CD, I've always wanted to have all the Beck records on vinyl. So even though this isn't an original, I decided to get it. Plain sleeve, pretty plain label. And there's lyrics in here, dropping things. So that was nice to find. Upstairs in the section of new arrivals, they have all their used stuff organized by the date it was put on the shelf, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's printed on the bins. And as we were looking through there, this has got to be the wackiest thing that happened. My phone rang and I was getting a video call from none other than Mike. That's MGK Boston. So here we are, three of us in the store looking at records, and then Mike is on my phone. So I'm holding it up so that we could all be in the image and we could see Mike. And he seemed to be at work. I think he said he was at work. Looked pretty spiffy in his work attire. Obviously skiving off, to be honest. And we had a short conversation, which I wish had been recorded somehow, but it was pretty funny the timing was impeccable. Like the timing was, Mike did message me and say, what's the plan? I said, we're meeting up. So I think he had this in the works, but it was really unexpected. I did not expect him to call as we were in the record store. Very, very funny. But really great. So I have to also say that Ben's wife is amazing. She endured him looking in countless record stores, spending money like a madman. How she puts up with him, I'll never know. But and Ben did not disappoint on day one with the shirts either. Okay, so the second thing I got was this REM record, Automatic for the People. And of course I had bought this on CD back in 92 when it came out, but I wasn't really buying records at that point. They were all in boxes, really. And so I decided to grab this one. Now, this is not the repress, though. The repress that came out a few years ago. I didn't buy it either, but I decided to grab this thinking it was the repress. And the French Vinyl Addict asked me, is that an original? I didn't think it was, but it was close. This is the second European pressing of this from 1999, so 7 years later. And I thought it was, originally thought it was a repress, but it's not. Well, it is a repress, but not the later one. There's the label if you're interested. I love this record, though. I think, this is this or New Adventures in Hi-Fi, probably the two best 90s records from them. Yeah, I think this is really, really great. Maybe overplayed back in the day, but what can you do? So Sonic Boom was great. We decided to walk across the street to kind of an odd record store called Invisible City. I had been there before, of course. They've had several locations in town, and I've been there with Jason Skills in the past. And it's an interesting store because they run their own label, so they have their own pressings in-house. And then I guess if I was to say what they specialize in, they have a lot of techno, even disco, soul, reggae, but they do have traditional, rock music and new wave and synth pop. And the divisions in their bins are interesting because you'll see like post-punk, section. There was like a krautrock section. Some bands got their own section, like New Order and Pet Shop Boys. Very, very interesting shop. If you go to Sonic Boom, you might as well cross the street and go to that one. While we were there, Ben pretty much forced me to buy this Midnight Oil record called Red Sails in the Sunset. He kind of said, just handed it to me. It was like $10, and so I thought, okay, I will support some Australian music. Now, to be honest, Midnight Oil was gigantic here with not the next one, maybe, I can't remember the sequence, but the Diesel and Dust record with Beds Are Burning. That, I think everyone owned that record, but I'd never heard any other Midnight Oil tracks before. So I decided to grab this because the price was good. And why not? And I haven't listened to that one yet. So, and I can't remember what everyone else bought, but I'm sure you'll be updated on that at some point.
Best reissues. I'm talking about non-Australian music and I got caught.
And then we took a 10-ish minute walk down to Queen Street West. Queen Street West is a pretty trendy shopping district in Toronto, and it has a record store there called Kops. It's Kops. It is the oldest record store in Toronto. It's been around for 48 years, and I do go there if I'm in the neighborhood because their markup is a bit lower than Sonic Boom. So, for example, I was looking at a record at Sonic Boom that was $46.99, and down there it was $44.99. I didn't buy it, but I just always note the difference in price. So we looked around in there, and once again, Ben put this in my hands, another Midnight Oil record, 109876543221, which I have listened to, still in the shrink wrap. And again, I think it was $10. As it happens, the next day we saw both, I was holding it sideways, the next day we saw both of these Midnight Oil records for more money, so that was good. We have the inner sleeve. Kops is one of those stores that on their used records, they repackage it in this plain white paper sleeve and put their stamp on there for whatever it's worth. Various prices paid. I don't know. I haven't sold anything there. But this is, I heard this once, and so I'll have to listen to it again, of course. When we arrived, the basement was closed at Kops, but it opened partway through, and the basement is very interesting. We'll put in a couple of images because they have what could only be described as thousands upon thousands of 7-inch records, which would take you a lifetime to look through. And some other weird things. So here's the weirdest thing about Kops is that upstairs they had a Taylor Swift section that wasn't even in their alphabetical sequence. It was just there, this giant bin of Taylor Swift records. And in the basement they had their Taylor Swift overstock. Again, this giant amount of Taylor Swift records, which I wonder how they're going to sell. But it was really weird to see that many Taylor Swift records in one location. So after that, we walked more or less across the street, Queen Street North, the north side of Queen Street on Queen Street West, to a place called the Horseshoe Tavern, which I can only really describe as being, that's a legendary place. Everyone knows it. It's a concert venue at the back. At the front, it's like a bar. There's a pool table. You can get food. We sat on the patio and had something to drink and had a nice conversation. And it was beautiful weather, lovely day. I'll put a photo in of that too. And then French Vinyl Addict had to leave 6 or 6:30, sometime around there. And so the three of us then walked down to the Rivoli, which again is another well-known place in Toronto. It's the same kind of deal, like a restaurant, bar, and concert venue at the back. So we had food there on the patio, and it was cool. It was a nice night. There was some interesting street action right next to us. There was some guy wearing a giant, I wish I had taken a photo of this, giant like rabbit head. I think it looked like some performance was about to happen, so I don't know. It was pretty funny to see that. And anyway, that was really cool. I think I left around 10:30. I forgot to mention while we were at the Horseshoe Tavern, the fire alarm went off, so the Toronto Fire Department showed up.
Such a pain in the ass for these guys.
And so that was the night. And the next day, I received a message that Ben was meeting the French Vinyl Addict again at Bellwoods Brewery, which I couldn't go to because of some. I had to be around for the kids coming home from school, which was fine. But I was then ready for meetup number 2, which was Ben and his wife and Low Noise Jason Skills. So we met at a record store / bookstore called She Said Boom on College Street. So we went there, looked around. I think it's all used records in that place. They do have CDs, and as I mentioned, they have books. So I almost bought one thing, but it was a sealed vintage record, and I was convinced by the shape of the record that it was warped, and I was going to ask him to open it, but I thought I don't know if he would. So we looked around in She Said Boom, and I shamelessly took a video of Jason taking a video of Ben, which I'll put in here because it's kind of funny.
Are you Ben Rankins, the VC guy?
Oh, hey, what are you doing here, man?
G'day.
Good to see you, Jason. G'day. How you going, Jason?
Wait a second, I think I've also got Brian over there taking some video too.
Oh, I was just taking video of you taking video.
Taking video, yeah, very meta, yeah. Yeah, so have you found anything good?
Yeah, this Australian band called Judas Priest. We'll get into
I
that.
think that's a different priest that you're thinking of.
Live in the East.
And then we were on the hunt for. I should mention that Jason gave me this tape. As you may know, he is the owner of a record label, but he also makes a lot of mixtapes. So this is a punk, synth, industrial metal noise tape with things like Wedding Present, Bauhaus, Beastie Boys, The Damned, Cabaret Voltaire, Throbbing Gristle. So right up my alley. A lot of things I like. Some things I don't know, but that is very cool. So I'm happy to have that. I have records for Jason that I forgot to bring, so next time I will do that. So we went to another well-known Toronto place called the Free Times Cafe, and it's very similar. It's a place you can get something to eat, something to drink, and again there is a concert venue at the back. So we sat with the three of us with Jason until, I don't know, 6-ish or something like that, or 6:30. I can't remember the exact time. And Jason had to go. And then I'm looking out the window and I see a friend of mine, oddly named Brian, walking into the bar. That's weird. So we came over to say hello. So he sat with us for the rest of the night. I felt bad because he was there to see North by Northeast. So North by Northeast is the opposite of South by Southwest. It's Toronto's attempt to capitalize on that kind of music festival. It's an amazing festival. Years ago, I saw some excellent concerts. I saw the Flaming Lips for free at North by Northeast at Yonge Dundas Square. Amazing, that crazy performance they show with Wayne Coyne in the giant kind of hamster bubble. I saw the National there and some others. So really fantastic. So he came to see the shows at the back, but ended up not going in and ended up spending the whole time talking to us, which was kind of funny. That went on till I don't know, I'm thinking it was 11:30 or something. I think I left at 11:30, and it rained during the time, so I had to get home in the rain on my bike, so that was pretty funny. If you go to the Low Noise Jason Skills channel, he has posted a video of that meetup, and there are a couple of images and videos thrown in there, so definitely have a look at that. And that's all I'm going to say for today. It was pretty excellent, epic meetup. I think Ben's on his way eventually to New York, so that'll be very cool. So anyway, thanks for watching, and during this lengthy video, I will see you in the next one.